Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I feel the need to talk about Halo Infinite. Now, if you've seen my last couple of Halo videos, you would know that as a general rule, I've been satisfied with Halo Infinite, with the exception that I mentioned in my last video that assassinations are not going to be in the game at launch, and that is a problem, and that's kind of ridiculous, but I made a whole separate video about that, so I'm not going to touch on that too much here. What I do want to talk about is the fact that 343 is really starting to disappoint me with this game, and it's a shame because I was so hyped up for this game, and I think for good reason. Like, the game does feel solid, but that doesn't take away from the fact that there's not going to be any co-op campaign or Forge at launch with Halo Infinite. I just found this out yesterday, and that's just really disappointing because let me just say, first and foremost, this game has been in development for 6 years. They delayed the game by a year. The game was supposed to come out holiday season last year, and they delayed it by a whole year. And they still haven't completed the game. And I've seen loads of posts on Reddit that made some very good points. In fact, somebody said that 343 has not released a full feature complete Halo game in the entire 10 plus years that they have had control of this franchise. And it's true. You know, you figure they have cut out features or just not given them to us at launch since Halo 4. You know, we had no firefight in Halo 4. We had no playable elites in Halo 4. We had no competitive ranking system in Halo 4. Then you look at the Master Chief Collection, right? That game was completely broken in 2014. It just didn't work, and it really didn't get fixed until somewhat recently, but it still isn't totally fixed. The hit detection on that game is still a disaster, especially if you go play Halo 3. You'll shoot at people, and your shots won't register, and they won't take any damage, but I digress. Then you look at Halo 5. The game launched with no big team battle mode. It launched with only 3 Warzone maps. It launched with, like, very, very few customization options. Then now you're looking at Halo Infinite. And the game's not going to launch. Oh, yeah, Halo 5 also didn't launch with Forge. And 343 is not going to have. So we got assassinations are missing. We've got Forge is missing. We've got co-op campaign is missing, despite the fact that in 2020 there were articles saying that 343 was reassuring the fan base that split-screen co-op campaign would be there day one at launch. So 343 has gone back on their word there, and they're just removing more and more features from the game to the point where, you know, somebody else made a good point on Reddit where they said, what are we even paying for at this point? Because multiplayer is going free to play, so we're just going to pay $60 for a campaign that we just play by ourselves. That better be one damn expensive campaign. I would not pay, in 2021, I would not pay $60 for any Halo campaign. I don't care if it's Halo 3. I mean, Halo 3 had one of the best campaigns ever, but the reality of it is they're just too short. They're what, like 6 to 8 hour campaigns if you're playing on normal difficulty? They're not that long. There's not a lot of content there. And if 343 expects people to pay that much for it, I was actually getting to the point after seeing the Infinite Test Flight preview that I played in a couple videos ago. I was almost going to buy Halo Infinite on release, but now at this rate, I'll just play the free-to-play multiplayer, and campaign can wait until it's finished. Because this is ridiculous. I mean, they're so concerned. That's another thing I've noticed. You know, 343 has really been showing off these armor coatings and all these things they can monetize and make microtransactions over. And they're really showing that aspect of the game off, but the rest of the game seems to have gone by the wayside. And that's just really, really disappointing. I don't know what else to say about it other than this is disgusting. I mean, the fact that, you know, Halo 3 in 2007 launched with co-op campaign and Forge mode. And while, yes, Halo 3's Forge mode wasn't nearly as, let's call it, feature-packed as Halo Reach or Halo 4 or Halo 5's Forge mode, it was also 2007. Technology has grown since then. We have more advanced capabilities and more things, whereas it just seems like 343 is incompetent with this franchise. I mean, they have done so many horrible things. Everything from hiring just horrible story writers that have a reputation for writing shitty stories. I mean, releasing releasing games that are just completely broken. And over the years, 343 has said, oh, Halo 4 wasn't good. We can learn and we can do better. And then they say, oh, Halo MCC was a black eye for the studio, but we'll do better. Then they say, oh, Halo 5 made mistakes, but we're going to do better. And what are they going to say for Halo Infinite? Oh, Halo Infinite should have launched as a full game, but we'll do better next time, guys. Sorry. You know, I really don't get it. Maybe that's why Microsoft had them make it free to play, because I feel like that wasn't a choice 343 made. I feel like that was more of a Microsoft thing to make the game free to play. And maybe they're doing that because they know that they're just such screw-ups over there that they can't have people, people aren't going to justify paying $60 for a game that barely works or that isn't complete. And it's just a shame. It's a shame where this franchise has gone, and I mean, part of me isn't even surprised anymore, but although I will admit, upon reading the news last night, I was a little bit surprised because it said the tech demo actually gave me hope. It did seem like they were listening to fans, but not for nothing, at the same time, we're not that far off from this game's release. And the tech demo still felt kind of clunky. It still felt like the game wasn't quite ready yet. And that wasn't the case when you look back historically. You look back to the Halo 3 beta or the Halo Reach beta or, any of those, and the games felt they felt like they were basically done. Maybe they had to polish a glitch here or a glitch there, whereas Infinite still felt a little choppy. And again, it's not that it's a bad game. It's fun to play. I personally think it's the most enjoyable Halo experience we've had in years, from a gameplay standpoint. But the fact that features are just being cut, and they keep... And I don't know if this is part of the plan. Like, they're just drip-feeding the community content. I mean, they kind of did that with Halo 5, where Halo 5, if you remember, didn't launch with Big Team Battle, didn't launch with Infection, didn't launch with Forge Mode. And it's crazy to me, it also didn't launch with any firefight game mode. It was very bare bones. Which is crazy, because I seem to remember 343 saying that the next game would have launched more complete back then. And it's just not. I feel like part of what they're doing here is they're trying to make... I mean, they have said that they're trying to follow a games as a service model, which is fucking cancer, might I add. I'm just going to say that. It is fucking cancer, games as a service. Where basically what they do is, instead of giving you the full game when you buy it, they drip feed you content over the course of months or even years. And the game isn't actually complete until 2 years down the line. One, this cuts down on costs for the developer. It's cheaper for them to make it, because instead of having to pay everyone to work X amount of hours at a time to make a game, they get to do that over a longer period of time, so it doesn't cost as much up front. And two, They say that it can retain audience retention. It increases audience retention, where when new content comes to a game, people will play it more. Rather, if they have all the content right away, they'll just play it for, the first 20 hours of it or whatever, then never touch the game again. Which does happen. To be fair, that does happen. But at the same time, when you drip feed people content, like, I know me personally, when Halo 5 came out in 2015, I was tired of that game after 2 months, because there was just nothing to do. I didn't want to play the same Warzone maps, the same 3 Warzone maps over and over and over again. I was tired of playing this overly competitive 4v4. Campaign was garbage. I think I played through it once or twice. And that's kind of bad, because every other Halo campaign I've played through, at a minimum, I've played through it a dozen times. And that includes Halo 4, and I didn't particularly care for Halo 4's campaign. But Halo 5 was just, them drip-feeding the community content. And that's the other thing I want to say, not for nothing. With the drip-feeding of the content, most of it wasn't even that good when it came out, right? Like Warzone, no matter how many maps they released for it, Warzone was still pay to win. It still sucked because it was pay to win. And it also created a gap in the player base, because with Warzone, you had these players that played for 2 months or whatever, put in their 20 or so hours, and then said, oh, there's no more content, I'm going to go play something else. You had those players that didn't unlock all the different, weapons and whatnot to actually win at the game. And then you had the other players that would just grind and grind and grind and grind. So by the time the other players that hadn't played for a couple months came back when they released a new map, all the players that had been grinding for months and months and months just had all this shit. You destroy one tank in Warzone, and then another tank would just pop up instantly. And it just became, it was just a terrible system. And I feel like they did that so that returning players who didn't have a lot of tanks and whatnot to call in would buy the microtransactions. So then they made it. It was either pay to win or grind like you have no life to win, and that was it with Halo 5. And that's not exactly a consumer friendly. It's not exactly it's definitely not consumer friendly. But on top of that, it's just bad. It really shows that, and I get it. They're in business to make money, but they've put way too much of their effort into the business end of things. It really seems like it's not about making a good game anymore. It's just about pumping out as much money as possible. And I see that with a lot of Microsoft products, and Microsoft in particular, and I don't know why people don't talk about this more. Everyone, it's fun to shit on EA. It's fun to go after EA and talk trash about them all day, and fair enough. EA sucks, right? They were the pioneer of some of the ridiculous DRM things that we see to this day, and they started that back in the early 2000s, right? Fuck EA. But I don't see a lot of people talk about Microsoft, because Microsoft, with every franchise it owns, just milks the shit out of it. I mean, look at Minecraft. Minecraft used to be really fun, and it was about, when they added in updates to the game, you could tell it was about making a good game, making a better game that people would enjoy. Whereas now they've got overpriced Minecraft merchandise everywhere. They try to make these weird little spin-off games, whether it's Minecraft Dungeons or Minecraft Story Mode or whatever it is. It just seems like they're more concerned about, Microsoft with its properties are more concerned about being woke and making money than they are about actually making good products. I mean, that's a whole nother rant for another video. It just very disappointed in this. Extremely, extremely disappointed. But that being said, what do you think about this news? Do you think it's not really a big deal? Are you going to be happy with it either way? Do you think this is an outrage and that the game should be delayed again? I personally think it should be delayed again, but I can understand why some people don't really care. But that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on it. If you want to see more of this, subscribe. I will be uploading another Emily is Away video soon. I apologize, those have been a bit later than I wanted them to be. I've just been really busy with things in my personal life. So that being said, have a great day. As always, stay safe, and goodbye.